The moment the glass shattered, I knew something inside him had broken too. It wasn't loud. In a room full of laughter, clinking silverware, and music humming from hidden speakers, the sound was barely a crack. But I heard it, felt it. The wine glass slipped from Daniel's hand, hit the marble floor, and split into glittering shards at his feet. And then he turned around, jaw clenched, eyes hollow, and walked straight out the front door without saying a single word. Just like that. My perfect party died in an instant. Guests paused mid-sentence. Music kept playing, but it suddenly sounded too bright, too cheerful, too wrong. And all I could think was, he knows. But how? God, how? Hours earlier, I had planned everything. The warm lights strung above the backyard, the candles lining the outdoor tables, the soft jazz playlist that whispered rather than shouted. It was our 10th wedding anniversary celebration, and I wanted it to feel intimate, beautiful, unforgettable. Ironically, it became unforgettable for the worst possible reason. Friends arrived with flowers, neighbors with homemade desserts, and co-workers with polite smiles and shallow compliments. Everyone was excited to celebrate us. Daniel and Melissa, the couple everyone called solid, steady, and perfect together. Only we weren't. Or maybe we had been once. Before I ruined it. Before a stupid, fleeting choice with a man who meant nothing. Before guilt became the chill that lived in my bones. I kept smiling, greeting guests, accepting congratulations, pretending everything was fine. Pretending I was still the woman Daniel believed I was. Except he didn't look at me the same anymore. For weeks, I'd noticed it. His lingering silences, his searching eyes, his sudden coldness at random moments. As though he was trying to piece something together. As though he already knew. But he hadn't said anything. No. I hadn't confessed. I should have. God, I should have. But I convinced myself it had been a moment of weakness. A brief collapse in a life otherwise built on devotion. That telling him would only burn everything to the ground. I told myself lies, because the truth was unbearable. The reveal begins quietly. As the evening softened into gold, I saw Daniel walking back inside from the backyard, weaving through guests with a tense expression. He looked calm, too calm. That rigid kind of quiet that comes right before an explosion. I felt a shiver run up my neck. Our friend Clara bumped her shoulder lightly into mine. You okay? You look pale. I'm fine, I lied. But I watched Daniel closely. He wasn't talking to anyone. His eyes were searching the room like he was hunting something. Or someone. Then suddenly he stopped. Stared. My stomach dropped. He was looking directly at Liam. The man I never should have let near me. A stupid, meaningless co-worker crush that became a secret text thread. Became drinks. Became a single night I regretted even as it happened. My pulse hammered. Please don't talk to him. Please don't notice anything. Please don't. Daniel moved toward him. And I felt the world start to tilt. Confrontation in disguise. I edged closer, pretending to refill a bowl of snacks just so I could hear. They stood near the dining table. Daniel's back was to me, but I recognized the rigid straightness of his shoulders. So, Daniel said casually, though I could hear the current beneath it. You're Liam. Liam smiled. Too wide. Too confident. That's me. You work with my wife. Yes, Liam said lightly. Melissa's great. We make a good team. My throat closed. Beat of silence. Dark. Heavy. Did you two ever spend time together outside work? Daniel asked, voice controlled, almost conversational. Liam hesitated. And that hesitation was enough. My heart stopped. But Liam forced a laugh. No, not really. I mean, the office goes out sometimes. Not what I asked, Daniel cut in. His voice wasn't loud, but it was cold enough to make the air feel thinner. People glanced over. Liam swallowed. I stepped forward quickly, hand trembling. Daniel, there you are. Can you come help me with? He didn't even turn his head. Just raised a hand slightly to silence me. And I felt a sting deep in my chest. Let me put it another way, Daniel continued. Did you ever go somewhere alone with my wife? Something she wouldn't think to mention. The room seemed to shrink around us. Liam opened his mouth, closed it. His eyes flicked toward me, just for a second. That was the second Daniel saw. And that was the second everything collapsed. Daniel's voice dropped, rough and breaking. Yeah. That's what I thought. He took a step back, expression shuddering, pain sharpening into something colder. Then he turned around and, crash, the wine glass fell. And he walked out without a single word. After the door slammed, gasps filled the room. People murmured. Someone whispered, "Should we go after him?" But no one moved. Everyone looked at me. I stood frozen, staring at the door like maybe he'd walk back in. Like maybe this was salvageable. Clara grabbed my arm. "Melissa, what's going on?" I couldn't breathe. Couldn't speak. 'Cause he knew. Not the details maybe, but enough. He saw guilt in Liam's eyes. He saw fear in mine. And that was enough. I finally murmured, "Excuse me," and headed to the bathroom. I locked the door behind me and pressed my hands to the sink. My reflection looked like a stranger. Flushed cheeks, wet eyes, carefully curled hair trembling around my face. Soft knock. It was Clara again. "Do you want me to send everyone home?" she asked. A tear slipped down my cheek. "Yes, please. I can't face them." "Okay," she whispered. "I'll take care of it." The empty house. 20 minutes later, the house was silent. Lights still twinkled outside. The remnants of the perfect night I had planned for the perfect marriage that no longer existed. I tried calling him once. He didn't answer. I tried again. Still nothing. I sat on the staircase, arms around my knees, feeling the guilt settle like poison in my blood. How had I let it get this far? Why hadn't I confessed before this disaster? Why did I convince myself that burying the truth was protecting him? I knew where he was. He wasn't the type to run far. He'd go to the one place he always went when he needed clarity. The old pier by the lake. Where he once told me he loved me. Where he proposed. Where we planned our futures. Where I destroyed all of it. The pier. The night air was cold. The wind cut straight through my dress as I walked down the wooden planks. The lake rippled with moonlight, soft and silver. Daniel sat at the edge of the pier, legs dangling, shoulders slumped. His hands were clasped tight in front of him. He didn't turn when I approached. I stood behind him quietly and finally whispered, "Daniel, please talk to me." Nothing. I lowered myself slowly beside him, leaving a few inches between us. He stared straight ahead as if the water held all the answers. After almost a full minute, he finally spoke. His voice was hollow. I didn't want to believe it. I swear to God I didn't. My eyes burned. "Daniel, don't." He exhaled shakily. "Just don't lie to me anymore. I can't take another lie." I swallowed thickly. "I'm not lying. At least not now." He turned his head slightly. Not enough to look at me, but enough to let the moonlight touch one helpless tear sliding down his cheek. "I kept asking myself," he said, voice tight, "why you were pulling away. Why you weren't really there anymore. Why you smiled at me like you were trying to remind yourself how." He finally looked at me. And it hurt more than any anger would have. "You slept with him," he whispered. "Didn't you?" My chest cracked open. For a moment I thought about lying again. About protecting myself from the shame. But the truth spilled out, small and broken. "Yes." He shut his eyes. Just once. Flinch. Silent collapse. "Was it more than once?" he asked. "No." My voice trembled. "It was one night. A mistake. A horrible, stupid." He lifted a hand. "Not to touch me. To stop me." "Don't call it a mistake," he said softly. "Mistakes are accidents, Melissa. You made a choice." Tears fell freely down my face. "I'm sorry. I am so sorry." He nodded absently. "I know. But I love you," I whispered. "Daniel, I never stopped loving you. I was stupid and I was angry about things I never talked about and I felt invisible and I let myself." So you betrayed me because you felt invisible? His voice cracked. Is that supposed to make me feel better? No, nothing will. But I want to fix this. I want to fight for us. Please. Please don't walk away from me. Silence stretched between us, thin and painful as barbed wire. Finally he spoke again. You know what hurts more than the betrayal? I shook my head. That you looked into my eyes every day since, and pretended you were still my partner, my friend, my home. He inhaled shakily. You woke up next to me every morning knowing what you'd done. A sob escaped my throat. I was scared. So was I, he whispered. But I didn't run to someone else. The words hit like a blow. For a long time, neither of us said anything. The lake lapped softly against the pier. The wind rustled the reeds. The night felt too quiet, too honest. Finally Daniel stood. My heart twisted. Where are you going? I whispered. He looked down at me, eyes glassy but resolute. I don't know yet, he said. But I can't go back home with you. Not tonight. Daniel. I need time. To think. To breathe. His voice broke again. To figure out if I can ever trust you again. I rose, reaching out instinctively. He took one step back. Felt like my soul cracked. I'm not ending our marriage tonight, he said painfully. But I'm not pretending everything is okay either. Please, I whispered. Please don't give up on me. He looked at me, then really looked. At the woman he married. At the woman who hurt him. At the woman he wasn't sure he recognized anymore. I'm not giving up, he said softly. But I'm not staying either. And then he walked past me. Low, quiet, final. But unlike at the party, this time he said something before disappearing into the night. Melissa, if you want us to survive this, I need to see you fight harder than you ever have. 'Cause right now, I'm holding on by a thread. And then he was gone, leaving me alone on the pier, staring at the water, praying that a single thread would be enough to rebuild a marriage I had nearly destroyed.